Hey guys, this is Rob, the Baltimore real estate guy, and I'm here with Bob Kemp from Guaranteed Rate Affinity. One of the mortgage lenders I use. I know him from the greater Baltimore area. We're actually up in Bel Air right now. So all those government military folks over there in Aberdeen, come talk to me and Bob. We can help you out. So Bob, thanks again for taking time for me today. I was getting bombarded by a lot of different questions from some folks, and a lot of the questions seem repetitive. And I want to make sure that I'm always saying the right thing, or provide them with different perspectives. So one of the big questions that I get based off of the current market is that why should I go purchase now? Because I feel like the housing prices are inflated. Or I guess the bigger question is there going to be a housing bubble, bust, and then the prices are going to go down?
Right. Yeah. That's a good question, Rob. A lot of people have brought that up because of what happened back in 2008,
right,
when we did have the financial crisis and the collapse, and we did have the housing bubble. But since then, there's been a lot of issues put into place that overcome that. There's the Dodd-Frank Act, which was put into place by the government to make sure that lenders were offering products and programs that people were qualified for, and not putting them in programs that were at high risk.
Right.
So now to get a loan, you have to qualify. You have to qualify based on your income, based on the cash, based on your credit.
Right.
So it's much more important that people understand that the likelihood of having a housing bubble is very low.
Right.
Right now, the main reason that we're seeing values so inflated is because of the limited demand.
Okay. So limited demand has pushed the prices up. I myself, I think, have benefited from that because the equity in my in my home.
We're loving it as homeowners.
Yes, as homeowners, it's been going up. People have been selling their houses next to me, a couple $100,000 more than what they bought it for, a few years ago. So it's been going up, and so now I think besides the housing prices are the inflation rates, and so the interest rates, and so individuals ask me, well, shouldn't I just go ahead and wait 6 months or a year until the interest rates go back down?
Right.
And I'm kind of like, well, go back down to what?
Right. Yeah.
So what's your perspective on the interest rates?
So the interest rates, obviously, have seen them go up quite a bit since 2022. The expectation is that as long as inflation is higher, we're not going to see the Fed cut, and we're not going to see the interest rates go down.
Right.
They're still talking about possibly some 1 or 2 cuts by the Fed towards the end of the year.
Yep.
They just had some information came out today on the economy, and the inflation is still there. So I don't have the crystal ball, but it looks like we're not going to see rates go down until probably sometime next year. But I get the same question: is it a good time to buy now, or should I wait? I always say the time to buy is now.
Right.
You don't want to wait because you're losing equity. You're losing. There's really 2 ways to build wealth in our country. 2 big ways. One is the market investing. We all can invest, and also 401k, which hopefully a lot of folks are taking advantage of that.
Right.
The other is your home and the equity that you build up in your home. You build long-term wealth through owning a home that there's no guarantee, but if you talk to almost anybody that's owned a home for 10, 15, 20 years, it's worth much more than it was when they bought it.
Yeah.
So that equity buildup is key to long-term wealth building.
Gotcha.
And then we talked about the rates being high. Yes, the rates are high. So what do we usually say in that scenario is you marry the home, you rent the rate.
Absolutely.
You buy the home for a long term, but the rate, you just rent it because when rates go down, and they will. I've been in the business for 30 years, seen many cycles of rates going up and down.
Right.
They will go back down, and that's when a lot of people will be able to refinance. So that payment, that high payment, it's temporary. I know it's hard for people right now, but if there's any way you can swing it. And there are some creative programs that we have. One is called a buy down that can help you get into a home with a lower interest rate. And that can help offset that higher payment.
Okay. So call Bob to get more information about that program as well. So another thing, or the last question, Bob, the thing that I get hit with a lot is individuals who say, in very general terms, I don't think I'm ready yet. Maybe in about 6 months or a year, I'll be ready. So from your perspective as a lender, what do you think that individuals need to do to get ready? What are their top 3 things that they need to be focused on? Because sometimes when they just jump into it at, hey, Bob, I'm ready to go buy a house, or Rob, I'm ready to go buy a house, it's like, oh, what did you do? What, did you do the pre-work to get here? What kind of pre-work do they need to do to make sure they're ready?
I know people sometimes plan for their vacation more than they do for like buying a house. Sometimes you wake up and you jump online and you see a house and you're like, man, that's beautiful. I really like to buy that. And then that kind of starts the wheels in motion. And then of course in this market, that house is only going to be on the market maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks. So really it's a process that should be really thought out and planned out. Buying a home is very emotional, but it should be more automatic, where we take our time and think through the process, plan for it. So I always say, if you're thinking about buying, now's the time to talk to a lender and go through the pre-approval process. Because we're going to be able to determine what's your purchasing power, what programs are available, how much cash do I need, what the payment's going to be. So when you have all that information, knowledge is power, then it's going to help you to say, okay, I can buy now. This is great. Let's go. Or it's going to be 6 months, or it's going to be 12 months. So let's have a conversation now and figure out if you qualify, and if not, what do you need to do? It could be you need to save more money. It could be there's some credit issues you need to work on, and those things sometimes can take time. But let's put a plan in motion that's going to put you in a position to be able to buy as soon as you can.
And then sometimes, again, like the credit issues, those might not necessarily be you have to pay something off, but you might need to go get a letter or something from that creditor to identify that it's been taken care of, And so those things take time. So those things, identifying those up front so that you're aware of it, instead of during the process of, I put in an offer, now let's figure out how we're going to get it done.
That's putting way too much stress on the buyers. It's stressful enough to buy a house and have to worry about packing and getting your insurance and all the pieces that you have to put into place. You don't want to be worried about issues with the loan. We want to take care of those up front.
Absolutely. Great. So this is Bob Kemp again. Thanks a lot for Bob asking or answering a lot of the questions that I get on a daily basis. Thanks, Bob.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it, Rob.